Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Hambone here, and in today's video I'm going to be listing off my top 5 upcoming MMOs. Let's jump straight into this. Oh, and if you're new here, be sure to like the video and subscribe. So the first game I want to talk about is Soulframe. This is an open world MMO being developed by the company behind Warframe, one of the most successful hub-based shooter, I guess you could call it MMOs, of all time. We don't really have a lot of information on this game yet. All we really have is an official reveal trailer and some small, short dev updates, which tells me that there isn't really much to talk about, or they would be talking about it. Expect this game to have some rock-solid action combat and a dynamic and fluid movement system if it takes anything after Warframe. Warframe has one of the best and most dynamic movement systems in the gaming genre as a whole. Really, really fun. If you've never played Warframe, do yourself a favor, download it. It is free, and give it a go. One thing is for sure though, this game will be fun if it's anything like Warframe, and it will be more than likely free to play, as Warframe has been free to play I think since release. Just don't hold your breath for a 2023 release. I'm going to say we're going to get more news, more information about the game, but definitely the game is not coming out in 2023. Next game on my list has been one that's been in development for quite some time now. That's right, Throne and Liberty. I bet you thought I was going to say Star Citizen, huh? No, we're talking about a game that might actually exist someday. So what is Throne and Liberty? I'm never going to say it right. It is a spiritual successor to Lineage 2. That's right, the MMO that your grandpa used to play. They base much of the game's features on Lineage 2, and that game had a big following back in the day, so this one's likely to be very popular as well. There is supposed to be PvE as well as PvP with the usual raids and dungeons, etc. The PvP aspect, however, can be found in massive siege battles, which based on what we've seen look really cool and fun to take part in. So I'm interested to see how this goes as the game goes on further and further into development. Hopefully these siege battles become like a big part of the game, because sieges are always fun in MMOs, and it looks like they run pretty smooth, at least from what we've seen so far. The game is set to release in Q2 of 2023, so this is an MMO on this list that you can play next year. In the middle of the year, you'll be able to play this game, and it's supposed to release on both PC and console. So that's right, all 4 of you out there that enjoy playing MMOs with a controller, this one is for you. Ouch. I got the Final Fantasy 14 crowd there, huh? Yeah, fight me in the comments. I'm sorry, but MMOs, I can't do it on a controller. I'm glad they're releasing for console for people that play them on console, but I can't do it. I'm allergic to playing an MMO on a controller. That's just a personal thing. Fight me in the comments. This next game will blow your mind. Yep, you guessed it. It's ArcheAge 2, an upcoming MMO that I'm very excited for. This game will have a lot of nice features to look forward to. It'll have a nice open world with action combat and many sandbox or theme park elements both. It's kind of got a mix. The original game was one of my favorite, the original ArcheAge of course, was one of my favorite MMOs back in the day, but the developers had some greedy monetization that just eventually made it where the game was unplayable for me. I just couldn't take having, the pay to win and stuff anymore in that game. You basically had to buy your way to do anything, and it was just pitiful for a while. I know they've changed some things in ArcheAge Unchained or whatever, but it's going to be hard for me to trust this one until I see how they monetize and how the game is going, how things look. But hopefully that monetization won't be returning this time around, as this game just looks amazing. This is one of the prettiest upcoming MMOs that we've seen so far, and a lot of these games are coming out with Unreal Engine 5, which is going to be just a massive beautification of the game, massive boon to how well the games look. So I'm really interested in seeing how beautiful this game is. The original ArcheAge was very pretty for its time, and I really enjoyed the graphic style of that game. So we'll just have to see. But the game has an amazing list of features. Lots and lots of stuff it's got that looks to be incredible, such as player housing, which is in the world. So the player housing is like a persistent housing. You just stumble across somebody's house out in the open world. That was always really cool. It had a fun trading system where you took trading and across the map, different places, took trade packages. That was a lot of fun. And, good economy from that. And it has now, this new feature of this game is the ability for guilds to make a city. So that's going to be something interesting. The only game that currently does something like that, to my knowledge, is Albion Online, which is one that I've dumped a ton of time into and I really enjoy. So hopefully this game does it well, and we'll be able to have another game where we can take the guild and go out in the wild and make our own city and make a stand somewhere, fight with other guilds for our territory. That sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, and did I mention that this is Steven Sharif's favorite MMO back in the day? That's right. The guy in charge of Ashes of Creation, he loved this game. So expect a lot of stuff, a lot of heavy inspiration from ArcAge on Ashes of Creation. Looking forward to that game as well. Expect a lot of news in 2023 and likely a release on both PC and console. That's right, we got another console one for you guys in 2024. Now, the next game I want to talk about really needs no introduction. I mean, if you've been around MMOs over the last 2 years, you know what I'm fixing to say. Ashes of Creation. I mean, it's probably the biggest and most hyped MMO in development at the moment, and possibly ever, for that matter. The open and transparent dev team led by Steven Sharif has been fantastic about sharing news and information with the community. I mean, he's done how many interviews now? And he just goes on, and every month there's a live stream, and there's always information. They try to be so open and so transparent about what they're doing, and that's unusual in a time where developers want to keep the wool pulled over your eyes and try and rob you. They try and like show you something shiny with the left hand and pick your pocket with the right hand. That's kind of the way that game development has been over the last decade or so. So hopefully that changes with these smaller indie companies that have a lot of money, which is like what this one is. And Steven Sharif has funded this entire thing, so we'll see how it goes. But there's nothing I could say in this video that hasn't already been said a million times about this game. This game is huge. I mean, it's just so popular. Expect a lot more videos on this game coming up in 2023 because I'm going to go over news and information. But this game is it's unbelievable. Whether it will live up to the hype or fall flat is anyone's guess. I hope it's as good as it seems to be. I mean, the mountainous amount of features and content that this game has is just too much to list. But expect a hybrid combat system set around the Holy Trinity, along with a world that is massively influenced by players and sets out to be the biggest MMO around. Every server will wind up a little bit different, changed up, thanks to the node system within the game. What this system does is allows players to interact with nodes or different areas like map areas, and if people are spending a lot of time doing a lot of quests in one area, well, eventually there'll be a village show up, and then a little bit bigger, and then eventually it'll be a massive city with player-run governments and territory fights and the like, which is just going to be something that's wild to see. I really can't wait to see what this looks like, and I'm really excited to jump into this game at launch and see how whatever server I pick grows and develops, and hopefully you guys will be right there along beside me. This is a subscription-based MMO, so that's going to be, it is what it is. I play them. Everybody plays them. It just is what it is. But it's sure going to be a wild ride. Expect lots of news in 2023 as the devs do monthly update live streams, which are like an hour or sometimes 2 hours of really long live streams where they talk about what's going on with the game. And as well as look for the Alpha 2 to release sometime in 2023 with the full game at some point after that, 2024, maybe 2025. But, man, this game is looking good. So, woo boy, that has to be the best game of the bunch, right? Like, there's no other game in development that could top Ashes of Creation or make anything more exciting than Ashes of Creation. Well, what if I told you that a massive game development company, one of the largest in the world, by the way, was working on a brand spickety new MMO? Wouldn't that be exciting? That's right, we're talking about Riot's new MMO. It will be called Runeterra something or other. We don't even know what it's called yet. It's just set in Runeterra, that's all we know. And Riot are building off of the lore put in place by League of Legends for this game. And they're pulling out all the stops. I mean, they've done interviews and talked a lot about this game. You can find information about the game, yes, but we have very limited information about what we know about what's going on in this game. But given Riot's track record, it is likely that this will be a free-to-play MMO, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as the monetization is not egregious. So, a big, massive company making a free-to-play MMO, and it's going to come along right along the same time as Ashes of Creation. There's going to be a lot of competition in the MMO market. And keep in mind that Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, let's see, what's the other big MMOs right now? Those are really like the two titans of the theme park genre. They're going to want to keep the player bases that they have. And so there's going to be a lot, over the next couple of years, the MMO genre is going to get shooken up by what I hope is good expansions for World of Warcraft and good expansions for Final Fantasy XIV and these new MMO releases. Hopefully the MMO genre over the next couple years just grows to the point where there's so much good stuff to play that you really just don't know what to play. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what it seems to be the case. And with Dragonflight being fairly well received so far, we'll just have to see how things go for 2023, but I'm looking forward to it. And the fact that Riot is behind this, I mean, given their track record, Riot is just a good company to make an MMO. You know, there's nothing wrong with, like I said, it being free to play. It's actually going to help the game a lot. It's going to help it grow a big player base. Just look what Lost Ark did. You know, botting aside, being free to play, it had a lot of players. And I guess I could have mentioned that one as one of the big ones, but it's not nearly as big as the other two. But they were asked point blank about the monetization, and they said they weren't able to discuss it at this time. So time will tell on just exactly what they're going to do as far as how they're going to monetize this game, how they're going to make money. But this game is setting up to be a massive MMO. The devs have said they're trying to cater to a massive audience. They want the guys who are crafting and roaming around, you know, collecting crafting materials, and the PvP guys, and the guys who are doing like mythic raiding or whatever. They want all those guys in this game, and so they want to try to capture everybody, which tells me that this is going to be a really big game, and you're going to want to be watching this one, as you know, there's going to be a lot of news come out over the next year. And they want both casual and hardcore content. And honestly, everything that Riot touches turns to gold and becomes massive. I mean, just look at League of Legends and Valorant. You know, they take genres, you know, like MOBAs or shooters, and then they refine them and polish them. Who does that sound like? Oh, that sounds like Blizzard 20 years ago. Yeah, like I said, this one's going to be interesting to watch. But they take genres and they refine them, and then they make their games become the titans of that genre. I mean, you know, League of Legends is like almost a household name at this point, and Valorant, you know, it's huge. I mean, it's got its own competitive scene. A lot of people are really dedicated to that game. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Riot does to the MMO genre, and time will tell. We'll just have to see what goes on over the next year or so, and I expect to be able to play the game in 2023, maybe in a limited capacity, but I think it'll release in 2024 or 2025. So stay tuned for more info on this upcoming game. I'm going to have videos come out as the information releases, so if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and click that button. But that's it for my list of the most exciting upcoming MMOs this year. Let me know in the comments which one of these you're most excited for and why, or if there's a different game you're most excited for, because guys, there were several that I could have put in this list that I didn't. These are just the ones that I chose to be most excited for. So let me know. Oh, and if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe for plenty more MMO content in the year 2023. And without any further ado, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, and bye-bye.